Cyril Dessers has scored a lot of goals for Rangers during his career, and now he's looking to score a big move to Greece. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football for the daily transfer roundup show, and it looks like Cyril Dessers will finally leave Rangers. He has agreed a 30 grand per week contract at AEK Athens, and all that is left to do now is for Rangers in Athens to determine what is a fair deal for Cyril Dessers. Now, Rangers paid about 4.5 million for him, so I would imagine they will want to get that money back, especially considering that Dessers has scored a lot of goals. I don't think his value will have went down, despite what some fans think of Dessers and not liking him and saying that he misses a lot of chances. Nobody really looks at that. Nobody really takes note of that. It doesn't matter if you miss a lot of chances. As long as you score enough goals to make up for that, then I don't think it's really relevant. Yes, if Dessers was missing 10 chances a game and only had 2 goals to his name, then he wouldn't be worth shit. But if you can score enough goals to overlook the chances, then I don't think they're really that big of a deal, and I expect the Rangers will get more money than they paid for him. Now, Athens, like I said, he has agreed the deal, so as long as they can give Rangers a fair amount, then this will be official. He will leave Rangers, and it will be Rangers' top goal scorer for the last 2 seasons leaving the club, and they've still yet to replace him. So in terms of out-and-out strikers, it would leave Rangers with Nygren, who could also leave this summer, and Danilo, who I don't think will leave this summer because he's not impressed. He's not had any game time, really, and who would come in and offer Rangers money for Danilo? And if they did, there's no way Rangers would get anywhere near the 6.57 million that they paid for him. So I can't see Danilo leaving the club unless Rangers are prepared to take a massive loss on transfer and just get him off the wages. I mean, that could happen, but as for Dessers, I would personally keep him. I think it's a mistake. Even if Rangers go and buy a number one striker, if they buy someone that they intend to have as their number one for the for the future, I still think Dessers is a good option to have. A guy that scores that many goals just doesn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion, to get rid of him. If they're going to bring in a few strikers, then maybe, but as of right now, they haven't brought in anybody. And I think it would be worrying if you got rid of Dessers and you were left with Nygren and Danilo, despite there being plenty of time left to bring players in. Personally, you think you'd rather bring in your players first and then sell the ones that you don't really want, but Scottish football, sometimes they can't really do that. But Rangers have this £20 million transfer kitty, supposedly, so I don't know why all the desperation and all the all the focus at the moment is on selling. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We're seeing Rangers being linked with a lot of players going out the door, and there's a lot less focus on players coming in. It's not like in past seasons where Rangers needed to sell in order to generate money to bring in new players. They supposedly have £20 million available to them, so I am a bit surprised that we've not seen more rumours and more links to players coming in. There's been a few, but honestly, it looks like we're going to see players leave Ibrox before we see players join. And obviously, Cyril Dessers is one of them. So I expect this move will happen. Apparently, Athens are going to offer around £5 million. That seems fair to me. Dessers has come in. He's had a couple of decent seasons. He's scored goals. He's 2 years older. He's helped out Rangers. And if they get their money back, I don't think you can really complain with that. So speaking of another player that looked like he was going to be leaving Rangers but is still sticking around is Robin Proper. So it seems like he was going to go back to 20. It seems like he was going back to the Dutch League after, let's be honest, a shocking season at Rangers. This guy came in, all the puns about him being a proper defender, and it turns out that he wasn't a proper defender. It turns out he was absolute shit, and they paid like 2.5 million for the guy. He was supposed to come in and be the backbone, to be the Rangers number one, be the guy that they could build a defence around, but he quickly came in, and before you know it, he was like 4th choice centre back. So his time at Rangers hasn't worked, but apparently he is in talks with new head coach Russell Martin about his Rangers future. I don't think he's got one, so I don't really know. And I don't think he's the type of centre-back that Russell Martin will really be interested. I don't really think he suits Russell Martin's system. But the fact that he hasn't completed this 20 move yet, then, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a possibility that he could stay at Rangers, but I don't think Rangers necessarily want him. Probably get rid of him now. I mean, we've seen people have bad first seasons and then go on to have good second seasons, but it was a really poor season for Proper, and I'm just not sure that there's much more in there for him to. I'd be shocked if he stayed and he turned things around and he became this great player for Rangers. I don't see it. Speaking of players leaving Rangers, it seems like Nico Raskin is being valued at £20 million minimum. So that's what it's going to take, according to multiple reports, for someone to prize Raskin away for Rangers. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that Raskin should be getting 25 million and more. And I'm going to disagree with that. While I like Raskin, I think he's a good player. To me, he's not hit the heights of some players that we've seen leave for more than that. So I think Bassey was around 20 million. Was Raskin really more impressive last season than Bassey was at Rangers? I'm not convinced. You look at Matt O'Reilly. He left Celtic to go to Brighton. He had a standout season. I don't think that Raskin had anywhere near a good a season as O'Reilly did. Then you got Kieran Tierney, who was just a different level for multiple seasons at Celtic. I think Raskin's had I think he's been pretty good at Rangers, and last season was probably his best season, but I'm just not convinced that he is, as of yet, a £20 million player. I think he's definitely at least 10, but I'm not sure I see this 20 million, 25. I've even seen some people say 30 million, 35 million on some Rangers pages, and it's like, nah, there's no way. Raskin has not done enough. He's not played at a high enough level for long enough in Scotland to be the record transfer player. I mean, he just hasn't. I cannot see a world where this guy would go for more than Matt O'Reilly did. I just don't think he's proven it yet. I mean, who knows? Yeah, he's doing well. He's in the Belgium team. If Raskin stays at Rangers another year, albeit that will be another year off his contract, but if he had another year and it was a standout year and he was phenomenal, then maybe you could put him in that bracket. I just think it's a bit. I just don't think we've seen enough. I don't think Raskin he's showed he's a £25 million player in Scotland. A very good player, yes. A £25 million player, no, in my opinion, because they're rare. Players in Scotland don't go for 25 million. It's a rare thing, and I'm just not sure that Raskin is at that level yet. But I do think that you could get, upwards of 10 million. I think 12, 14 is fair, but I'm just not sure he's proven that he's much better than that. But we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of players who may be coming into Rangers, it looks like they are preparing, according to the Scottish Sun, a £6 million offer for Westerlo forward Matisha Freegan, who is 22 years old. They reckon that the sale of Cyril Dessers could lead to this move happening. What do we know about the Croatian striker? Not a lot. Scored 13 goals last season for his Belgian side. But yeah, is this guy any good? I don't know, but I do think it's positive to see Rangers. They're looking at this guy 22. They're looking at the Israeli striker who's 21. I think it's positive to see Rangers going out and trying to sign players that are around the £6 million mark, the £5 million mark, and they're not guys that are in their 30s or close to their 30s. They're young guys that if you do bring them in, they've got big futures ahead of them, long futures ahead of them, and if they turn out to be really good players, not only can you have them for a few seasons, but you can also sell them on in the future and make big profit. And I think that's smart business for Rangers. I mean, you want to be signing players that are 21, 22, 23, and sign less players who are 29, 40, 41. And I get it, the links with Jamie Vardy were there, but I mean, really, Jamie Vardy, you'd have to pay a huge wage to get him in. And I don't know, it'd be cool, I guess. I mean, to have Jamie Vardy in the Premiership, but to me, is it a good move? Is it a smart move? I mean, if he scored goals and won you the league, then you'd have to argue yes, but I think that you should be looking at bringing younger players in, and that's kind of the model that every club wants now. Bring players in young and hopefully in a few years, sell them on and make big profits. So I think that's what they should be looking to do. But speaking of the team, across the city, it looks like Celtic will be getting Benjamin Nygren. He has agreed to join Celtic, and the only thing we're waiting on is the actual transfer fee. It looks like it's going to be around £2 million, but Celtic and the Danish club, who I hate pronouncing the name of them because I always get it fucking wrong, Nordjylland or something along those lines, they're just waiting on agreeing a transfer fee, but it looks like Celtic will pay 2 months, despite his contract, running out soon, but they want to get him, and if he's a good player, which I believe that he seems to be, then, sometimes it's worth paying that £2 million, rather than, risk getting him on a free, or risk losing him to try get him on a free. So, yeah, it makes sense, I think, and that'll be a good option for Celtic to have. He can play up front, he can play through the middle, he can play on the wing, so, he's versatile, and I think that's definitely an advantage for Celtic, because you've also got Dyson Maeda, who can play up front or on the left. I'm sure he could play on the right as well. I personally think Maeda's better on the left out in the wing, but he has been played through the middle. If Celtic bring in another guy that is similar to that, and he can also play through the middle or on the wings, then it gives you lots of options, and you can change things up, and that's what you kind of need up front. You need depth and versatility, and I think it's a good thing for Brendan Rodgers. So I think that will be a good signing if Celtic make it, and it looks like they will. It looks very similar to the Dessers deal, where it's pretty much done, and we're just waiting on a concrete figure before the moves gets completed. Other than that, not a lot of news to talk about. James McGarry looks like he's going to leave Aberdeen to join Brisbane Roar in Australia. Nothing major there. That's pretty much it. Honestly, nothing else really happening. There is links that could move Lewis Ferguson to Napoli if they sell their Cameroon international Frank Sambo Angucia. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, that's it really. So yeah, players been linked out to Ibrox. One player been linked in. Celtic about to make their second signing of the season, and McGarry set to leave Aberdeen. That's your transfer talk. That's your transfer news for today, guys. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.